In the world of football, scoring a goal isn't the end. Sometimes it's just the start of the drama. From Bale's cheeky taunts to Ronaldo's bold moves, these players took celebrations to another level. But with great goals come great controversies. Let's dive into some of football's most talked about and sometimes costly post-goal antics. Buckle up, it's a wild ride. All right, check this out. Gareth Bale, playing for Real Madrid, was up against Atletico Madrid in 2019. It was a big deal match, and Bale was about to hit a major milestone in his career. He had this special celebration planned, but it turned out to be way more controversial than he thought. Bale pulled off what's called the sleeve cutter taunt. Basically, he was flipping the bird to the opposing fans. Yep, pretty much an up yours gesture. You can imagine how that went down. The reaction was immediate. Bale got slammed with a 12-game suspension. Talk about making a statement, but maybe not the right kind. Disrespecting fans like that? Yeah, that's a no-go in football. Bale's celebration stirred up a real storm, showing that even a simple gesture can ignite controversy in the world of football. All right, so here's the scoop on Vinicius Jr. and Flamengo's crazy moment back in 2018. They were facing off against Botafogo, and it wasn't just any regular game. Flamengo needed this win to get into the Guanabara Cup final. Fast forward to the dying minutes of the game, and Vinicius decides to go all out. He pulls off this wild celebration, but it wasn't just for kicks. He was poking fun at Botafogo for something that happened a decade ago. Back in 2008, Botafogo had this really tough loss, and the players, well, they got pretty emotional about it in a press conference. Fast forward to Vinicius's time. He scores this epic goal, and then starts mocking Botafogo, basically rubbing salt in the wound. Botafogo, though, they weren't having it. They were so ticked off by Vinicius's antics that they banned him and his team from their stadium, all because Vinicius didn't apologize. Talk about holding a grudge, right? It's like, let the guy celebrate his goal. But nope, Botafogo just couldn't let it slide. Football's full of these wild stories where a simple celebration turns into a huge drama. All right, so here's the lowdown on Kai Kamara's wild celebration. Picture this. It's 2016, and Kamara's team, New England Revolution, is up against Impact. It's decision day, and the Revs know they're hitting the playoffs regardless of this game's outcome. But Kamara and his crew still want to finish the season with some flair. They're all fired up, and by the 60th minute, Impact is totally rattled, arguing with refs and racking up yellow cards. Then, in the 70th minute, Kamara decides to really stir things up. He scores and goes for this over-the-top celebration, the kind you'd expect to see on a risque website, not a soccer field. The crowd gets an eyeful, and everyone's like, did he just do that? But Kamara should have known better. Just weeks before, NFL player Antonio Brown pulled the same stunt and got slapped with a hefty fine. So, of course, the refs aren't letting Kamara slide either. They whip out a yellow card faster than you can say too much information. It's one of those moments in football that's just unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. So here's a celebration story that's no laughing matter. Back in 2013, Giorgos Katidis, playing for AEK Athens, found himself in a match against Veria that's going to be remembered for all the wrong reasons. The game's neck and neck, tied at 1-1, and it's down to the wire. Both teams are pushing hard, looking for that game-winning goal. Athens gets the ball, last chance to make something happen. They score, and that's when Katidis decides to celebrate. But what he does is no ordinary celebration. He busts out a salute that's way out of line, sparking a massive controversy. This isn't just a faux pas, it's seriously offensive. The Greek Football Federation, they see this and know they've got to act fast. They can't let something like this slide. So they drop the hammer on Katidis, banning him from the national team. And it's not just for a few games or a season, it's for life. That's how big of a deal this was. Just goes to show, one wrong move on the field can have some serious consequences. All right, so check this out. Back in '99, Robbie Fowler, who was tearing it up with Liverpool, got himself into some hot water. The fans had nicknamed him God because he was just that good. But then, ahead of a big game against Everton, some rumors start flying around about Robbie and drug abuse. Just nasty stuff, you know? Robbie, though, he's not the type to let rumors mess with his head. So during the match, he gets a chance to take a penalty shot. He nails it, but then does something wild for his celebration. Robbie pretends to snort the white line on the field like he's taking a jab at those drug rumors. Liverpool wins the game 3-2, but the bigwigs didn't find Robbie's stunt funny at all. They hit him with a game suspension and slapped him with the biggest fine in Premier League history at the time, a whopping £44,000. Talk about an expensive joke. Alright, so here's a wild story about Neymar getting booted out of a game over a celebration. It's 2011, Santos versus Colo-Colo, group stage action. Neymar still on the rise, looking to make his mark. First half's intense, with Santos showing they're not messing around, and Neymar's right in the thick of it. Come the 51st minute, Neymar's on the ball and he's got one thing on his mind, scoring. And man, does he deliver. But then, Neymar decides to celebrate in a spooky way, pulling a scary face mask over his head. Think Halloween in spring. But here's the kicker. The ref wasn't feeling it. He's as spooked as anyone, and shows Neymar his second yellow of the game. Just like that, Neymar's sent off. Talk about a celebration backfiring. Sometimes even the best players get a little too creative for their own good. So let's talk about Teo Gutierrez and his wild celebration during the 2015 Europa League. Sporting Lisbon was in a tight spot against Besiktas, down 1-0 in the first half. But come the 67th minute, things start looking up for Sporting, and they're on fire. Fast forward to the 76th minute, and Teo's got this big moment. He scores and decides to pull off a celebration that's, well, out there. He's thinking he's about to become a YouTube sensation or something. So he's all hyped up, trying to get the crowd and his teammates to like and subscribe, going for that viral moment. But here's the twist. Teo's celebration plan totally flops. The refs are not amused, and bam, they slap him with a yellow card. Talk about a celebration fail. It's one of those moments where you try to be cool and end up just looking kind of silly. Teo was going for epic, but ended up with a facepalm moment instead. All right, let's talk about Nicklas Bendtner's, shall we say, cheeky moment during the 2012 Euro Cup. Denmark's up against Portugal, and it's a big deal. The Euro Cup's a major stage where countries clash for glory, so the whole world's watching, and Bendtner's got this wild celebration up his sleeve. First half, things aren't looking great for Denmark. They're down 2-0, and Bendtner's getting antsy. But then, 41st minute, he heads in a goal, giving Denmark a glimmer of hope. Still, they're trailing, so he holds off on his special celebration. Fast forward to the 79th minute, and Bendtner gets another shot. He scores, tying the game, and that's when he decides it's time to reveal his grand plan. He drops his shorts a bit to flash his lucky underwear, sponsored by Paddy Power, no less. It's a bold move, and the crowd gets an eyeful. Sure, Denmark ties it up, but they still end up losing 3-2. And Bendtner? Well, he probably got more attention for his underwear stunt than the game itself. Talk about leaving a lasting impression. So Isa Alexander really stepped in it with his celebration. The guy was tearing it up for Iran's Persepolis, scoring left and right. Comes the AFC quarterfinals against Uzbekistan's Paktikor, and he scores again. But then, Isa pulls out his trademark celebration, and let's just say it didn't go over well. For years, folks thought he was just making a goofy face for laughs or to be a meme or something. Turns out, he was actually mocking Asians. Seriously not cool, especially in the Asian Champions League. Isa's pulling his eyes in a way that's just plain offensive. The AFC, they weren't having any of it. They dive into the situation and come down hard on Isa. Right before the semifinals, the biggest match of his life, they boot him out of the tournament. They slap him with a $10,000 fine and bench him from football for a whole 6 months. Talk about a celebration gone wrong. Isa learned the hard way that there's a line you just don't cross. All right, so Cristiano Ronaldo pulled a fast one that's hard to forget. Back in 2019, Juventus was in a tight spot in the Champions League. They'd lost to Atletico Madrid 2-0 in the first leg, and things were looking grim. But if anyone could turn it around, it was Ronaldo. Cut to the second leg, and Ronaldo's on fire. He's nailing headers left and right, and by the second half, he's got Juventus all tied up. Then, 85th minute rolls around, and Ronaldo goes for this cheeky celebration. I mean, the guy's just scored a hat trick and is feeling all kinds of bold. But here's the kicker. UEFA wasn't laughing. They saw Ronaldo's celebration and went, nope, not cool. So they hit him with a hefty 23,000 euros fine. Ronaldo might have carried Juventus that day, but his wallet sure felt the burn after that move. Classic Ronaldo, always leaving us talking, whether it's for his goals or his gutsy celebrations. Football's all about passion, skill, and some pretty wild celebrations. From Bale's controversial gesture to Ronaldo's bold antics, these players show us that scoring isn't just about putting the ball in the net. It's also about making a statement, even if it sometimes costs them a game or a fine. Football, you gotta love it. It's never just a game. So that brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, then consider pressing the like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. Check out our other video that you see now. We will see you next time.